President Biden is calling on world leaders to invest in climate change reforms as he wraps up a two-day virtual climate summit.
This is a moment for all of us to build better economies for our children, our grandchildren, and all of us to thrive in not just now, but beyond for next generations. Nations that work together to invest in a cleaner economy will reap rewards for their citizens. The United States is committed. We are committed to making those investments to grow our economy here at home while connecting with markets around the world. For example,
the president went on to announce the U.S. is launching a global partnership for climate-smart infrastructure. His plan to work with foreign leaders is part of an effort to create more green jobs around the globe. On Wednesday, President Biden announced his administration's plans to cut global greenhouse gas emissions by as much as 52% by 2030. A new article published by CBS News explores what the president can do beginning in his own backyard at the White House. CBS News climate and energy reporter and author of the article, Cara Kote, joins me now. So, Cara, the White House has big plans to ensure the U.S. economy is less dependent on fossil fuels by 2030. But in your article, you discuss how this change can start a little closer to home, right there at the White House. How should the Biden administration begin the task of retrofitting the White House to be more eco-friendly?
Yeah, there's progress to be made here, Tanya. So we know that the electricity that powers our buildings accounts for 38% of all CO2 emissions in this country. So ways that the White House can change, both big and small. Small things they can do are things like banning plastic bottled waters in the White House, then no longer purchasing them. They can install a compost system, which could then turn around to be fertilizer for the gardens in and around the White House. Big, large-scale projects, two in particular. One would be installing a gray water system. That is an irrigation system which takes used water and rainwater from a property, filters it, recycles it, and then puts it back into use. So experts I talk to want to see that. What they really want to see is about the source of energy into the White House. They obviously would like it to be a renewable source of energy, whether that be wind, solar, or another kind. I talked to Scott Horst, who used to run the LEED certification process. We know those LEED emblems when you walk into a building, they kind of rate the score of how eco-friendly a building is. Scott used to run this system. He told me that the White House could easily receive platinum certification if they did the right things, which is the highest level of certification a building can reach. And he told me that in 2009, the Obama White House looked to do the same thing, but that just never came to fruition.
Well, that's good to hear that he thinks it would be, a pretty straightforward process because the White House is more than 200 years old. So what are some of the specific challenges a 200-year-old building poses if the Biden administration does move forward on renovations? And, how much can actually be done to update the historic building during his term?
It's a 200-year-old building, Tanya. It's also a residence to the first family. It's an office, essentially 24/7 to all the people that work in the administration. So it's a complicated situation, but it can be tackled. One thing that complicates it is how many agencies would go into any kind of White House renovation. You have to consult the Park Service. You have to consult the General Services Administration. You would have to do an environmental impact report. So that complicates it. I also spoke to one of the lead conservation architects at Monticello, obviously kind of a similar kind of structure and symbolism. And he told me that whenever they want to do any kind of renovating at Monticello, you have to bring in architects, you have to bring in engineers, you have to bring in historians and conservators. So it's a complicated process, but it can be done. And we'll see if the White House has any plans to do this. I asked the White House if they had anything in place to try and go back and retrofit the building to make it more energy efficient. They couldn't point out anything yet, but they said that they are hoping to reveal some plans in the future.
I guess where there's a will, there's a way. And also with these changes that the White House be seen as sort of a PR move to reflect President Biden's overall goal for the country.
Absolutely. We've seen presidents do this in the past, Tanya. We know that Jimmy Carter famously put solar panels on the roof in 1979, and then part of his political message, President Reagan ripped them right off. President Bush installed solar panels on the White House grounds. President Obama put them back on the roof. So we've seen energy efficiency being used as a political tool. Certainly, the Biden administration could do that. They want to build their infrastructure plan, their jobs plan, which is also a climate plan. So this could be a way to kind of lead by example.
All right, Cara Kote, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.